we are all here today just to have this retreat on Ashtavakra Samhita by Swami Sarvapriyananda, who doesn't need any formal introduction because we have been attending most of his lectures either in person or on YouTube. He is one of the greatest teacher of Advaita Vedanta in our times. I just want to give a little background of him. He was born in Calcutta to parents who are devout followers of Sri Ramakrishna. After he completed his MBA, he joined the order in 1994. And then he took his sannyasa diksha in 2004 from Swami Ranganathananda. He came to the Vedanta Center of Southern California in 2015. Before coming to the Southern California, he was the principal of the Teachers College at Belur Math. After he came to, from 2017, he became the serving as the spiritual leader at the Vedanta Society of New York. Maharaj is a noted scholar teaching the loftiest Vedantic philosophy in simple terms and lucid terms, combined with his own experiences as well as corroborating with the present scientific understanding on the subject. Maharaj has passion for knowledge and educating whoever has interest in it. He is a fellow of Harvard Divinity School, where his studies were focused on Buddhism. He has a strong following on YouTube, where he connects with all generations and imparts Vedantic knowledge to bring peace and tranquility to the worldly souls. In addition, he travels world all over to teach Vedanta. By the grace of the Mother, we are all gathered here today to lead into this highest Advaitic Vedantic teaching of sage Ashtavakra as Maharaj unfolds them over the next 2 days. On behalf of Brother Shankara, Swami Sarvadevananda, who is the spiritual head of the Atlanta Vedantic Center, and the board and the members of the congregation of the Atlanta Vedanta Center, to thank Maharaj for accepting this invitation to give this retreat, and I am hoping, wishing, and requesting Maharaj to make this event an every year event. Thank you.
That's good. Just leave it.
Balaji, also thanks to John Gano for all the help from the
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John. We'll start with chanting Om for a minute. Do it at your own pace. I'll also chant along with you, and then we will start the retreat. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness unto light, lead us from death to immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace. So this session is up to 10:45 and then question answer till 11:15, right? So when I received the invitation from Brother Shankara, most of you know him. Those who are very new, he's the head of the Vedanta Center of Atlanta. And he organized everything with his team, but then he fell and he hurt his hip. But as you heard, he's doing well in rehab. When I got this invitation, for a retreat on the Ashtavakra, he knows how to tempt a monk. This is my favorite text, so he knew that I'll never be able to say no to this. Yeah, so the Ashtavakra has always been my favorite text. Advaita Vedanta, non-dual Vedanta, we know the root texts are the Upanishads. And then there are texts which are introductory, a range of texts written by Adi Shankara and his followers, the post-Shankara non-dualists. They are called Prakarana Granthas, various kinds of texts. Some of them are heavy on logic and reasoning. And then there are a few texts, very few texts of this category, the Ashtavakra Gita or Ashtavakra Samhitha. The interesting thing about these texts is they are primarily meditative in nature, one might call nididhyasana. One knows that Advaita Vedanta, the process of Advaita Vedanta, it takes place in 3 stages. One is hearing, in Sanskrit Shravana. The other one is reasoning, the cognitive part of it, trying to get it. That is called manana. And the third part is meditation. It's called nididhyasana. It's a special kind of non-dual meditation, nididhyasana. Now, some texts, the primary texts, the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, they are what are in Sanskrit might be called Shravana Pradhana. They're primarily meant for conveying the teaching in a powerful, effective way. There are other texts which are heavily into the reasoning part of it. So once we have the knowledge, we may also have doubts about it. We'll probably have doubts, questions about it. And those are reasoned out to our satisfaction. There are certain kinds of texts like that. Some of them are so subtle and so difficult. For example, there's a text called Advaita Siddhi, the establishment of non-duality. There is a text called the Tattva Pradipika, the lamp which illumines the reality. There is a text called Khandana Khanda Khadya. How do I translate that? The cookies of refutation, the delight, the sweets, the candy of refutation. And all of them are, somebody called them brain fryers. So that's one kind of text. And then there are texts like this, the Ashtavakra. There is another one of this category, the Avadhuta Gita. And there's another one which was a particular favorite of Ramana Maharshi, the Ribhu Gita. So these are the Nididhyasana Pradhana, which means are primarily for the purpose of meditation. So in these texts, there is no attempt to tell stories. There's no attempt to introduce you to the subject. There's no attempt to reason it out. There is no speculative philosophy here. There's no subtle logic employed here, nor flights of language or poetry. It is just one thing. After you have heard the message, after you have reasoned it out, and you begin to understand, you are that absolute reality. Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. That begins to settle into you. Then this text kicks in. What it does is, it repeats that one central message. You are existence, consciousness, bliss. You are pure awareness. You are that immortal spirit. You are Brahman. Again and again and again in something someone called a grand monotony. Throughout this book, there's only one thing which has been said. So somebody compared it to the ocean. Wherever you dip your hands in and you taste it, it's salty water. So similarly, wherever you dip in, you don't have to go from the beginning to the end. Wherever you dip in, it's saying exactly the same thing, again and again. To what point? If in several hundred ways that one conclusion is pointed out to us, that we are not bodies, not minds, we are pure consciousness. And it serves the purpose of non-dual meditation. In fact, if you find meditation difficult, many people find it difficult. If you find it difficult, one thing you could do is read this book. Just careful, slow, attentive reading of this book is equal to non-dual meditation, Nididhyasana. I just love this book. I don't know, it just appealed to me the very first time. I don't know when I read it, before I became a monk, and ever since. And another beautiful thing about this book is that you don't have to, contrary to the impression I might have given, you don't have to start with the Upanishads and the Gita and then read a range of texts and then go into those brain fryers, do 10 or 20 years of non-dual scholarship, and then the Swami said, finally you come to this book. No. You may not know anything about Advaita Vedanta. You may just be coming for the first time. And if you pick this up, this has a charm and a lure of its own. It immediately grabs you. Even if a person doesn't understand Advaita Vedanta. I picked it up when I was interested in spiritual life, but I didn't know all the things that I learned later. But even then, it was so attractive. And I've seen it again and again. People just love this, First time you're reading. People who don't know Sanskrit, you don't need to know Sanskrit. That brings me to this translation. I came across this a few years ago. I like this translation. It's by Thomas Byrom. You don't have to have it, but if you want a book in English, which is, you don't want to have anything to do with the Sanskrit, this book is a beautiful translation. He was a professor of English, and I believe he had an awakening. He died very young, unfortunately, but this book is an immortal legacy is left behind. It's called The Heart of Awareness. The Heart of Awareness. Thomas Byrom. R-O-M, not like the poet, not Byron, but Byrom. Heart of Awareness. I've recommended it a few times. Amazon reported an uptick in sales. So the beauty of this book is that he has captured the spirit of the Ashtavakra. It's not a precise translation. So those who are a little finicky, you would want to know what exactly the original Sanskrit says. For them, this book is standard. This is the Ashtavakra Samhitha, translated by Swami Nitya Swarupananda, who was a senior monk of our order. This book, I think many of you have got this book. How many of you have got this book? Most of you have got it. All right. So this book it gives you a good English translation and a precise translation also. And this gives you a very poetic translation. You can't go wrong. If you just read this, without this also, if you want to read this, that's also fine. He's a professor of English, so very beautiful language. He says in his introduction that after all the scriptures have had their say and fallen silent, after all the philosophers have said what they wanted to and fallen silent, Ashtavakra begins at that point. And he says that the words barely seem to touch the pages they are written on. They seem to appear out of luminosity, barely stay on the page, and they disappear back into the light they came from. So it's a beautiful expression, and it's true, it's really true. He also points out the language of the Ashtavakra, the original Sanskrit, is direct. There is, Sanskrit can be, you can have sentences, a single sentence can cover a whole page. You can go on and on and on. Ashtavakra is just the opposite. It's straight, it's direct, it's simple. There are no stories to be told. There are no arguments to be made. There is no attempt at subtle logical reasoning. It's just the highest conclusion repeated again and again and again ad nauseum. So, yeah. The reason, I don't know if it was mentioned to you, that I'm going to take up one chapter. Was it mentioned, chapter 15? No. So I'm going to take up one chapter. That's chapter 15 in this book. There is a reason why I'm taking up chapter 15, and that has a connection with the Vedanta Center of Atlanta, actually. The reason is this. How many of you here have heard of Swami Yogeshananda? Oh, many of you, yes. So, especially the old-timers would have heard of Swami Yogeshananda. He was here a long time ago, many, many years ago, a very senior monk of our order. He passed just, I think, last year, a couple of years back, at the age of 96, in 99, at the age of 99, in our Trabuco Canyon Monastery in Southern California, Swami Yogeshananda. So this has to do with him. What it has to do is this. When Swami Yogeshananda was in our Ganges retreat in Chicago, near Chicago, many years ago, decades ago, about 40 to 50 years ago, a very interesting monk visited, Swami Nishreyashananda from South Africa. So I never met him. Some of you here might have met him. Yes, it's one or two. But I've heard about him from our senior monks. He's the one who sort of kick-started the Vedanta work in South Africa long ago, pre-war time, pre-Second World War time. But he visited America in the 1980s, possibly. And he went to Chicago, and he taught there. His teaching was remarkable. From everybody I've heard who have seen him, he had a flair for stories and most interesting examples and very subtle, penetrating insights. So Swami Yogeshananda, who attended those classes in Chicago, in the Ganges retreat near Chicago, he thought this should not be lost. I mean, he and others, they took extensive notes. These should not be lost. So what he did was he took an initiative in collecting some of those notes and publishing a slim volume, which is available nowhere except in the Ganges monastery there. When I went there a few years ago, they were selling off the last stocks of that slim volume for $1 each. And I purchased one of those. Very nice. But you have to know a lot of Vedanta for it to make sense, and those notes. They're just like brief statements. In those statements, I found one statement. Swami Nishreyashananda is saying, if you want to know how you come to this non-dual conclusion, that I am Brahman, go to Ashtavakra Gita, the 15th chapter, and start reading from the 4th verse onwards. Go to Ashtavakra Gita, 15th chapter, start reading from the 4th verse onwards. And I immediately did that. I had read it many times earlier, but I never really noticed. It's a remarkable piece. In a very, very remarkable book, it's a very remarkable sequence of verses. So that's what we'll do in this session, in this retreat, today and tomorrow. I have structured the retreat in this way. that there is a Shravanam, hearing portion. So listen attentively, and there is a reasoning portion, which will be the question-answer session. A short question-answer sessions, longer later on. And there will be meditations scattered throughout the sessions. So there will be one in the next session, a meditation session, which is so Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, hearing, reflecting, meditating. And we all know what the conclusion is. You are Brahman, yes. There was a doctor who used to attend Swami Vivekananda's classes when he would teach. He came to the United States many, many years ago. And he was an elderly gentleman, very interested, but maybe he didn't follow all of that which was being taught. So he would listen with a quizzical expression on his face, and at the end of every class he would ask, "But Swami, it all means that I am Brahman, isn't it?" And Swami would say, "Yes, Doki, you are Brahman," and he would be relieved. Oh, thank God. So that's going to be the conclusion. Right. So I think we can start. Is there anything that I wanted to say? A little, introduction into because Advaita Vedanta is a very radical approach. It's very different from everything else we have come across in spiritual life. What is Advaita Vedanta? I'm just going to translate from what I heard from a monk. In Hindi, I can tell you in Hindi. Some of you understand Hindi, and for the benefit of everybody, I'll translate. वेदांत क्या है? कर्म नहीं है, उपासना नहीं है, योग नहीं है. What is Vedanta? He says, what is Vedanta? To understand what is Advaita Vedanta, you have to understand what it is not. One good way of understanding it is to understand what it is not. It is not doing something, which covers a vast range of things called karma in our secular life, and especially in our religious life. Those of us who are Hindus, we love our rituals, don't we? So, very, very ritualistic. If you go to a Hindu temple, it's endless rituals. Advaita Vedanta is not ritual. It's not religious action. It's not worldly action. It's not something that you do. It's not something that you do. After listening to Advaita talks, reading some books, people ask this question in impatience. Yes, I get all that, but what do I do now? Give me something to do. What do I do now? Especially Americans. They love doing. So, what do I do now? And the answer from a traditional Advaitic perspective would be, you haven't got it. The only thing you can do is listen again. Repeat. One Swami teaches this way. He says, it didn't work? You're not enlightened yet? No. Then repeat. And then if I still don't get enlightened, repeat. And if I still don't get enlightened, then better luck next life. So it's not it's not karma. Advaita Vedanta is not karma. It is not bhakti, upasana and bhakti. Bhakti means devotion to God. There's a God, I believe in God, I love God, I surrender to God, I pray to God, I worship God. Wonderful, but that's not Advaita Vedanta. Be careful, I'll take it all back, but for the first we must drill down and see what it is not. It's not Advaita Vedanta. Bhakti, devotion is not Advaita Vedanta. It's not believing in something. It's not worshipping, loving, surrendering to something. And then, it's not even meditation. Many people confuse Advaita with meditation. And what happens when you confuse Advaita with meditation is, something goes in the mind that, all right, I need to listen to these classes, and then meditation. That's the real thing. No, it's not the real thing. Listening to these classes is the real thing. And some people think, that's all very great, but I really want some time with you. I want to talk to you. Hanging out with the Swami is also not the real thing. Listening to the class is the real thing here. Shravana is the real thing. Listening. So, it's not karma yoga, it's not bhakti yoga, it's not dhyana or raja yoga. That's meditation. However, this is the time to take it all back. Advaita won't work unless we have karma yoga, bhakti yoga and raja yoga in our lives. It is the selfless, the pure and the selfless mind. It is the devoted and the pious mind, and the focused, steady, concentrated mind in which this will work. This will really work. In fact, after all of this, if there's a complaint, it is not working, I don't get it, or it's not delivering, the problem is not with the teaching or with Advaita Vedanta. It's with the lack of the groundwork not being done. The groundwork is the purification and focusing of the mind. The purification of the mind is done through Karma Yoga, and the focusing is done through Bhakti Yoga and Raja Yoga. So those are essential. Advaita Vedanta is a spiritual journey. Yes, but what kind of spiritual journey? One has to be careful here. It's not a journey in space. It's not like going from here to there. Sometimes you find big billboards that heaven is a place where you meet God. Big billboard. But what does it mean? It means you don't meet God here, there. So spirituality is a journey from here to there. But Advaita is not like that. It's not a journey from here to there. Brahman is where? Everywhere. If it is everywhere, it's right here. It's there in heaven too, but here on earth, here too, in this hall, it is there. It's also not a journey in time. Sometimes, another billboard I've seen, after death you will see God. It's slightly ominous. After death you will see God, and below that will be written, call 1800, something like that. After death. Now, after death you will see God. I immediately notice the word after. After is a time word. Before and after. But Advaita Vedanta says, where is Brahman, the ultimate reality we're speaking about? When is it? All the time. It's eternal all the time. That means it's now. It's not only here, it's also now. Advaita Vedanta is also not a spiritual journey from one thing to another. I am a human being, a small sentient being, and there is something, some ultimate reality called God, Brahman, whatever it is. So I have to go from me to that. From the human to the divine. It's not like that also, because Advaita Vedanta says you are that. In Sanskrit, Desha Kala Vastu, space-time object. So Advaita Vedanta is a spiritual journey, but not in space, not from one place to another. It's not a journey in time, not from one time to another, from life to afterlife, or after I go to heaven, or after the millennium comes, or after I get samadhi, or after God appears to me, whatever, no after is there. It's right now. It's also not a journey from yourself to something else. It's you. In that case, what kind of a journey is it? So if I say it's here, it's now, it's you, one can legitimately ask, why don't I experience it then? It doesn't feel like that. The advantage of a dualistic spirituality, dualistic religion is that the teacher is safe. Why can't I see God? Because God is not here. God is there. When you go there, you'll see God. Why can't I see God? Because God is not now. God is then. After death, you will see God. So, but in non-duality, that safety is not there for the teacher. You can legitimately ask the teacher, so if I am one with the divine, if it's right here, right now, why don't I experience it now? So the answer in Advaita Vedanta is ignorance. We do not know who we are. Vivekananda often would say, sometimes in this country, to Americans who would come to him, he would say with a touch of pathos, he would say, if only you knew yourself as you truly are. If only you knew yourself as you truly are. That would solve all your problems. So it's a journey from ignorance to knowledge. Ignorance of who or what we truly are to the knowledge or the realization of what we truly are. So that's the journey. That sadhu, it works very well in Hindi. So let me tell you in Hindi and translate for the rest of it. He followed this up by saying, in Hindi first, Bhavsagar se kaun bachayega aapko? Who is going to rescue you from the ocean of samsara? Raja bachayega. Will the king save you? There's a certain, UP village lilt to that in Hindi. Raja bachayega. Will the king save you? Pandit bachayega. Will the scholar, the Brahmin scholar, will he save you? Sethji bachayenge. Will the rich man save you? No. Neither power, the king, nor learning, the pandit, nor wealth, the sage, the rich man. None of these can save us from samsara. So it's neither power, nor wealth, nor learning. Sri Ramakrishna says, you can take a string of zeros and put them one after another. The total is still zero. No matter how many zeros we line up, it's still zero. But you put a 1 before the zeros, and then all the zeros get value. 1 0 is 10, and 2 zeros is 100, and so on and so forth. What will save us? Keval ye Vedanta Vidya, this knowledge of Vedanta. Notice he makes a distinction between the Pandit and learning of the Pandit and Vedanta. It's not literally book knowledge. It's something about ourselves which we are supposed to catch when we hear all this. All right, let's make a beginning. Those of you like, you can chant after me. I'm going to start from, as per Swami, the old Swami Yogeshanji's notes of Nishreshanji's classes, from the 4th verse of the 15th chapter. The 15th chapter is very evocatively and very beautifully titled by Byram, The Clear Space of Awareness. The clear space of awareness. I say, what is the clear space of awareness? It's you. We'll see, hopefully by the end of this session, every session, we'll see that you are the clear space of awareness. We'll start from the 4th verse. Those of you like, you can chant after me, but I'll give you the English translation anyway. 4th verse. Natvam deho nate deho, natvam deho nate deho, bhokta karta nava bhavan, bhokta karta nava bhavan, chidruposi sada sakshi, chidruposi sada sakshi, nirapeksha sukham chara, nirapeksha sukham chara. You're not the body, nor is the body yours. You're not the doer, nor the enjoyer. You are consciousness itself, the eternal witness, and free. Go about happily. Now, Byram's translation, you'll see the difference in the English. Same meaning. You are not your body. Your body is not you. You are not the doer. You are not the enjoyer. You are pure awareness, the witness of all things. You are without expectation, free. Wherever you go, be happy. Natvam deho, nate deho. You are not the body. That's the first hammer blow. I remember about 10 years ago, there was a wonderful article on Swami Vivekananda in the Wall Street Journal, of all places. They wrote about the man who brought yoga to the West. So, and of course, Hatha Yoga is extremely popular. Very recently, we had the International Day of Yoga also, and with good reason. But the article pointed out that Vivekananda emphasized the spiritual part of yoga. For all those who are stretching and huffing and puffing, and Vivekananda said, you are not the body. And you look stunned. Oh. And then Vivekananda goes further, more stunning. You're not the mind either. So this message, you're not the body. You're not the mind. Why does he start there? Because before we realize ourselves as pure consciousness, pure being, Satchidananda, whatever you call it, the absolute reality, one with God, all of that stuff, before we realize that, first of all, we have to counter our intuitive feeling, we are this thing. Suppose if somebody says, you know what you are? I say, yeah, I know. Here, this is what I am. What is this? It is I. What are you? This. So, first Vedanta starts right there to show to us that we are not the body. How will we go about this? All the teachings, take it in 3 steps. Take it in 3 steps. The same 3 steps of hearing and reasoning and meditating. The practical implications of this hearing, reasoning and meditating are, first, have I heard what he said, what the text said? Because without that, nothing is possible. It's like learning something. If you don't listen to the professor, if you don't read the handouts, then you can't make a beginning. So the beginning is, what did he say? Can I answer that question to myself? Earlier, teachers used to make us memorize the whole thing. I won't. There's a good way of emptying the hall. People will make a run for it. But at least we should be able to say in our own words, what did he say? What was said? Basically in our own words. That's basic. What did he say? I should be able to answer that question in the affirmative, I know. Second, do I get it? That's where all the questioning comes in. We'll have lots of questions. I mean, after I can say that I heard what you said, but I have questions. So that's the second stage. When you have questions and you think it through, ask the questions, either by your own thinking or your discussions or your subsequent studies or from the teacher, you get it clarified. And so then you have an answer to the question, do I get it? Yes. And third, is it a fact? Is it a fact? One can get it and still it might seem theoretical. Many people say, I have heard the teachings and I understand them, but I can't claim to be enlightened yet. That's still, the Advaita teachers would say, listen again. I'll tell you one secret, an amazing secret about Advaita. Advaita Vedanta claims that whatever is taught, the highest truth, you are Brahman, it is already within your experience. We just don't recognize it. This is just pointing out something already most obviously there. Vivekananda had a talk called the open secret. That's exactly what it is. It's a secret because we don't know it. It's also open. It's right there. I won't say right before your nose because it's behind your nose basically. But it's the most obvious of all things. Naham deha. Our first objection is, I know you don't have to tell me what I am. I'm not all of that Brahman, pure consciousness. I'm this body. But are we? So take it in 3 stages. Did I hear what he said? Do I get it? And third, is it real? Is it a fact? This body, notice that it changes. It changes greatly over time. From babyhood to childhood to youth to middle age to old age and death finally. It changes rapidly and over time. And yet I am the same person who was in the baby body, in the child's body, in the teenage body, young person's body, this middle-aged and older person's body. I am the same person. I'm the same one, same person. I mean, it's common sense. And it's legal sense also. Law also holds you to be the same person who was the child and who is this now. By law, by common sense, by all agreed notions of human civilization. The body changes rapidly. You are the same. Now, the unchanging and the changing cannot be the same thing, literally. It's contradictory to say that I am that unchanging person, I am Sarva Priyananda, or I am this person, and the body has changed rapidly, and I am the body. It's like saying I am the unchanging changing. What does that mean? It's impossible. So I cannot literally be this body, because it's changing and I am unchanging. In Sanskrit, if you want a Sanskrit word, savikara, nirvikara. It means with change or with modification and without modification. Body is with rapid modification. I am without modification, without change. I'm the same person. Now, some of you might be thinking, what kind of an argument is this? This is not meant to be a mathematical proof, right? It's more like a legal argument where a lawyer tries to persuade the judge and the jury of the soundness of his case, his or her case. Similarly, I'm trying to persuade you to create a little gap between you and the body. So these arguments, they're not just arguments, they're pointers to something actually there. It's something to be heard, understood, and then seen. Yeah, it's a fact. I'm the same person. The body has changed dramatically. And if your mom persists in showing you your baby photos to your embarrassment, but you see how tremendously different you are from your baby photo. Then another such argument is, the body is an object of experience. Whatever is experienced and the experiencer, subject and object have to be different. The seer and the seen are 2 different things. I see this bottle of water, and the eyes which see this bottle of water, they're different from the bottle of water. In that case, the body, is it an object of my experience? Yes. I see it, I touch it, I can taste it, I can smell it, I can hear it when the tummy rumbles, it's hungry. It's an object of all my senses. I can objectify this body, and it's a thing, just like this thing. The body is also a thing. So that's an argument. The subject and the object are different. The seer and the seen are different because the body is an object to all my senses. I cannot literally be the body. It's an object to me. Drashta and Drishya are different. Subject and object cannot be the same. One more argument. We can give many such arguments. These are just ways of showing, convincing you cannot literally be this physical body. One more subtle argument. Conscious, not conscious. Clearly, you the seer, you the experiencer, you the subject, you're conscious. And you're conscious of many things. If you're conscious of many things, those are objects of your consciousness. They are not conscious, you are conscious. Conscious and unconscious cannot be the same thing. It's again contradictory. Is the body conscious? You say, yeah, it's conscious. Not really. You are conscious of the body. But the body feels conscious. It feels conscious because it borrows consciousness from your presence. You are the light, it borrows light from you. One experiment which I often suggest is you look at a part of your body, like the hand. Now notice your experience, notice the quality of our experience. I feel aware of the hand. Does it feel like the hand is aware of me? No. That would be a weird science fiction movie, The hand says, hello, Sarva Priyananda. No. I'm aware of the hand. You might say, so? And I'm aware of this hand. So? And I'm aware of every part of the body. Those parts of the body are not aware of me. They are not aware of themselves. Is the hand aware of itself? We have no experience to say so. It doesn't seem like that. Is the hand aware of this hand? No. It's not aware of itself. It's not aware of this hand. It's certainly not aware of me, the conscious experiencer. So I am conscious and the hand is non-conscious. It's an object. Chetana Jara in Sanskrit. I've given you three arguments. The Chetana Jara means conscious, non-conscious, aware and sentient, insentient. They cannot literally be the same thing. The words are contradictory. They cannot literally be the same entity. So, remember the arguments and think about them later on. Because of the time, I'm running through it like a TED talk, Everything has to be finished in 15 minutes or 18 minutes. Changing, non-changing. In Sanskrit, savikara, nirvikara. Therefore, I'm not the body. Subject and object, or seer and the seen, drashta and drishya. I am the seer, body is the seen. Seen, heard, smelled, tasted, whatever. Body is an object. I am the subject. Cannot be the same thing. Chetana Jara, conscious and non-conscious, sentient and insentient, cannot be the same thing. And therefore, I am not the body. I can reel off more arguments. In Aparoksha Anubhuti, Shankaracharya gives 7 arguments to show, they're similar, one after another, to show more and more from different perspectives, you cannot literally be the body. And at this point we say, yeah, I know that. I never meant that. What I really meant was, it's my body. I am not the body. It's my body. Ashtavakra says, Nate deho, it's not your body. It anticipates our objection, our question. It's not your body. What do you mean it's not my body? One monk explained it nicely. It's your body, banaye ho. Did you make it? No. I didn't make it. Maybe you can say my parents made it, but then they all had no control over the process. It's nature which did all of the work, basically. All the tremendous work of developing it from into a fetus and from there into a baby and so on. Everything was done by nature. Then if you didn't make it, then how is it your body? Do you own the materials out of which it was made? Do you own the earth and the water and the fire or the elements out of which this body was made? There's this joke about this. A scientist said to a religious man, a priest, "We have made life. There's no need for your God. We have made life in the laboratory." And the priest said, "Show me." And the scientist said, "Come over, I'll show you." First, we take a little bit of earth. And the priest said, get your own earth. See, even the material. Did we make the material? No. God or whoever, but not me. Did I make the elements out of which the universe is made and this body is made? No. The elements out of which this body is made, there was a beautiful television serial, Carl Sagan, Cosmos. When we were kids, we used to see that. One of the few American serials which was available on Indian TV when we were growing up. One was Cosmos, another was I Love Lucy. And you won't believe it. Yesterday on the plane, there was I Love Lucy. And to my delight, so I watched a few episodes of that. And those were the earliest seasons in black and white. Very nice. And another one which was available was Star Trek, the first original series. I never thought I'd be on TV with William Shatner. So once Hollywood, they approached me, do you want to be on TV with William Shatner? I said, yes, I grew up with Captain Kirk as a kid. And at that time, William Shatner actually went to space. There was, he went to space in one of those rockets. Oh. Yeah. I never got to meet him though, but I was on TV. That's History Channel. If you look it up, The Unexplained. There's a series which he sort of MCs that series. Secrets of Immortality. That was the thing. And they wanted to interview me about yogis who lived for long, hundreds of years. I said, yeah, they can, but that's not the point. The point is you are the immortal consciousness. They were not interested in that. I gave them a long lecture, more than 1 hour, about Vedanta and how you are actually immortal. You don't have to live in that body or upload yourself into the cloud, which some of them are trying to do. But you are immortal already. That's the good news. They cut out all those parts. And a few examples I gave them of yogis who lived for more than 100 years, those ones they retained. So you do not own the body because you don't own the materials out of which it was made. And that's why we said, that it's your body. Do you have the papers for it? If the cops pull up and ask you for the papers, not of your car, they want the papers to your body. You said, it's my body. You don't have the papers for it. I'm all translating what that Swami said in Hindi. Koi aapko tohfa mein diya hai? Has somebody given it to you in a gift? Did somebody give you the body as a gift? You don't know. All right, but I'm in charge of the body. It's like it's mine. I mean, I can use it. I can talk, walk, and the Swami says, really? This body, it's true if you think about it. I think I'm using this body, but I have no clue how I'm using this body. I want to raise my hand, I have an intention, and the hand raises, but it may not. If you go to a rehab home where somebody's paralyzed, and a tremendous struggle even to raise this hand. Full intention is there, full effort is there. Impossible. It's nature which is doing all of that. How much of this body is under our control? Right now, even when you're healthy, everything is functioning well. How much of it is under our conscious control? Almost nothing. Tiniest sliver, and that also it's doubtful. And a lot of experiments have been done to show that we don't have conscious control over almost anything in this body. And thank God we don't. Modern medical science shows how much goes into the heart pumping and the air coming into the body and then going, the oxygen being absorbed in the blood and then the blood being deoxygenated and the carbon dioxide coming out, the food being digested, the nervous system, the endocrine system, the hormones and enzymes. Tremendous amount of chemistry, biochemistry is going on here. Extremely subtle workings. If we tried to take charge, what would happen? 911. If nature says, okay, you take the wheel, we wouldn't last a few seconds. It would collapse immediately. So, do you run the body? No. Did anybody give you the papers to the body? No. Were you gifted the body? No. Did you make the body? No. Do you own the materials out of which the body was made? No. Do you make those materials out of which the body was made? No. then how is it your body? Nate deha, it's not your body. What are you then? It says, Chidruposi sada sakshi. You are of the nature of consciousness. How are you nature of consciousness? Because you're always experiencing. That much you can say. I am and I shine. I am aware. I am and I am aware. That much is indubitable. Nirapeksha sukham chara. You do not need anything as pure consciousness. We do not need anything from this world or from the body as awareness. Nothing is needed. Live happily. We will go into this later on in the meditation session later on. Now let's go to the 5th verse. See, the foundation for whatever we are going to do in this retreat is in this session. The verses 4 and 5. The rest of it will build on this foundation. The 5th verse will tell us you are not the mind. Ragadvesho mano dharmo. Ragadvesho mano dharmo. Namanaste kadachana. Namanaste kadachana. Nirvikalposi bodhatma. Nirvikalposi bodhatma. Nirvikara sukham chara. Nirvikara sukham chara. Very beautiful. Attachment and abhorrence are attributes of the mind. Raga, dvesha, likes and dislikes, preferences, likes and dislikes are attributes of the mind. But you are not the mind, and the mind is not yours. Na manaste kadachana. You are not the mind. The mind was never yours. Nirvikalposi. You are without any change or variation, free from any conflicts. The mind is continuously changing. You are without change. What do you mean I am without change? You are consciousness. You are awareness. The mind undergoes any number of changes. You are the same awareness which was aware of the sleepy mind. You are the same awareness which was aware of the alert mind after a cup of coffee. You are the same awareness which was aware of the excited mind, aware of the bored mind. Same awareness. Did awareness change from sleepiness to alertness, from excitement to boredom, to inquisitiveness, to remembering something, to forgetting something? All of those things are what we are aware of. The awareness itself didn't flicker. What flickers is the mind. So that's why you, the awareness, you are called nirvikalposi. Vikalpa, change. Alternation. Mind undergoes alternation, not you. So what's your nature? Bodhatma, your consciousness itself. Nirvikara, you are beyond change. Now let us see. You're not the mind. Let's apply the same arguments which we applied to the body. 3 arguments if you remember. Changing, unchanging. Does the mind change? Oh boy, does it change. They say the mind, what is the mind? It's a stream of thoughts and images and perceptions and feelings, ideas and memories and likes and dislikes and desires and hopes and frustrations. It's a stream, a mental stream. That activity itself is called the mind. In one day itself, this morning, from morning till now, how many thoughts, feelings, emotions, shades, perceptions have gone through the mind and are streaming through the mind even now? And you are the same one who's experiencing all the ups and downs and changes and flickerings of the mind. You do not change. You do not go through ups and downs. You do not flicker. What does it mean? You are unchanging? If you put all the changes in the mind, then you are left as the awareness without change. So, changing, unchanging. You, the unchanging, and the mind continuously changing. You cannot literally be the same thing. How can changing and unchanging be the same thing? It's contradictory. Second, drashta drishya, seer and the seen, subject and the object. We normally take, most people, sensitive, educated, grown-up people, we take the mind to be the subject. I am the mind. We don't even question it. But notice, the mind is also observable. When we introspect, we are aware of our emotional states. We are, when I feel unhappy, I am aware of the unhappiness. When I feel delighted, I'm aware of my delight. When I think of something, I can introspect and report to you my mental states, my thoughts, my observations. That's what you do, when you go to the therapist. That's what you do all the time. I feel this, I understand this, I don't know why this is happening. All of it's introspection. We are aware of the workings of the mind. If you are aware of the workings of the mind is an object, you are the subject. Mind is the seen, you are the seer. Seen not with these eyes, but with your inner introspection. Seer and the seen, subject and object cannot literally be the same thing. So, you are the witness of the mind. You are that which is aware of the mind, but you are not the mind. The second one, this is the argument, seer and the seen, they cannot be the same thing. Third argument, if you remember, Chetana Jaras, aware and not aware, consciousness, not conscious. This is a big one because especially in the modern philosophy of mind, in neuroscience, in consciousness studies, they don't make a distinction between mind and consciousness. Vedanta, Sankhya, Buddhism, they all make a clear distinction between mind and consciousness. Consciousness is awareness. Whatever happens, you're aware of it. That's awareness, consciousness. And what you are aware of is an object to consciousness. If you're aware of something, then that's not awareness. That's an object to your awareness. Object to, Vedanta will say, you the awareness. So if I'm aware of the book is not consciousnness. The book is an object. I am conscious of the book. It must be different from me. If I'm aware of a pinch, pain, in that case, the pain is an object which I'm aware of. The pain is different from the awareness. When we say we are not the body, because I'm aware of the body, and the body is not something that is aware of me, and the body is something that is seen, I'm the seer or experiencer of the body, then a question can happen is that, a question can arise, is that, no, it's not true that the body is an object, because this is an object. If I hit the object, no problem for me. But if you say body is an object, somebody hits the body or pinches the body, it hurts. If you hit that object, it doesn't hurt me, the table. But if you hit the body, it hurts. There's a question raised in a book called Upadesha Shastri by a student to the teacher. It's a book by Shankaracharya, and Shankaracharya replies there, it hurts. Yes. Are you aware of the hurt? Of course. If I'm aware of the hurt, then the hurt is an object, I am the subject. The hurt, the pain is something that I'm aware of. It appears to my consciousness. Therefore, it is not me, the consciousness. Even the pain is an object. It's exterior to, or it's an appearance to you in the consciousness. So, the mind also is an object. It is not aware, I'm aware of the mind. It's something that is seen, I am the seer. It is something that is changing, I am the unchanging experiencer of the mind. Therefore, I cannot be the mind. Nor is the mind mine by any stretch. So, I am neither the mind, nor is it mine. It appears. I experience it, just like the body appears, the universe appears, the body appears, the mind appears. But it's not me, it is not mine. I am the witness of the mind. The same arguments in Sanskrit, savikara, nirvikara, changing, unchanging, subject and object, drashta, drishya, and conscious, not conscious. So this is a big thing, not understood in the modern philosophy of mind or modern consciousness studies, that mind and consciousness are two different things. Often when we talk about consciousness studies in the modern context, if you ask people, scientists, researchers, philosophers, what do you study in consciousness studies? They'll say, well, thoughts, perceptions, memories, all of it is the mind. That's not consciousness. And they say, we study consciousness also, but they make a bundle of it. Consciousness, mind, memory, perception. In Vedanta, you make a clear distinction between mind and consciousness. What is the principle? Vedanta is a very elegant principle for distinguishing between mind and consciousness. What's that elegant principle? An analytical knife. What is that knife to apply to clearly separate mind and consciousness? Anything that appears to you is an object to consciousness. That which experiences all objects is consciousness. What you can designate more precisely, Whatever we can designate as this is an object. It's not consciousness. Book, can you say this book? Sure, this book. Then it's not consciousness. It's an object to consciousness. Shirt, can I say this shirt? Sure, then it's not consciousness. It's an object to consciousness. That part is pretty simple. No brainer, Swami. Go on. But then next, the body. Can I say this body? Sure. In that case, it's not consciousness, an object to consciousness. Okay. Breath. Can I say this breath? Yes, sure. In that case, it's not consciousness, it's an object to consciousness. Even more amazing, this thought. Think any thought. 1 + 1 is 2. That's a thought. Or 1 + 1 is not 2. Suppose you want to be crazy about it. 1 + 1 is not 2. That's also a thought. Now, can you say this thought? Yes. I can't see your thoughts unless I'm a telepath, which I'm not. But I can't see your thoughts. Vivekananda, it's amazing. One of the disciples, she has left an account. When she came to Vivekananda, he had all these powers. He would be loath to use them, but sometimes he did. He sheepishly asked me, if you permit, may I look into your mind? So it's a stunning thing to come to face with such a person. So even if you have this thought, we can look into our own minds. Can I say this thought, this feeling that I have now? If I say this thought, this feeling, then they are also objects. They are not me, they're not I, they're objects to me. I am consciousness, I'm aware of those objects. In that case, what am I? He says, Nirvikalposi bodhatma. You are, bodhatma means Atma self. What is the nature of this self? Bodha, consciousness. Not mind, consciousness. Not body, consciousness. Bodhatma. How is it different from the mind? Nirvikalposi. You are without change, without flickering. The mind changes and flickers all the time. And then nirvikara, without any modification, without any change, without any alternation. And then the same advice. So what's the upshot? What do I do? Sukham chara, be happy. Chara, go around, interact with the world, do the stuff you want to do. Talk, walk, eat, work, relax, all of that in absolute relaxation and happiness. All right. Now, in the next session, we will go into a meditative state and try to experience these things for ourselves. That's why what I've left, you noticed I did not touch too deeply upon the second lines of each verse. The first verse was, you are not the body is not yours. And then the second line was, you are pure consciousness, ever the witness. I haven't talked about that really in deep. I just touched upon it. In the next verse, in the verse number 5, you are not the mind. The mind was never yours. Thoughts, feelings, emotions, likes, dislikes, these are in the mind. They are not you. You are aware of them. They are not aware of you. Then it talks about, you are the changeless consciousness. I didn't really talk about that much. So those are things we will explore experientially in the next meditative session, which will come the next session. But before that, a little bit of reflection. How do we do the Q&A? Yes. Okay, there is a microphone there. Yeah, people can line up on either side. There's a microphone there to my right. You can see it there. There's a microphone there. And there's one in the back, at the back too. So you have 3 microphones. Yeah. Try to keep the questions focused to Advaita Vedanta. Because, yes, and generally there are many questions on spiritual life. And that's wonderful. I generally entertain all sorts of questions. But all right, that's it. Exactly the ones who have come, that much, because we can't deal with all of them. We'll leave it there. You want to come here? Here? All right, just leave it there. The gentlemen who have come here, you can come here and ask the question. Don't line up anymore. There are 3 there. How many there? 1 and 1 here. All right. We'll go around this way. Please tell us your name and ask the question. Yes.
My question is about the Bhokta, Karta, Nava, Bhavan. So, especially the bhokta part, how can we understand that we are not the bhokta?
So in English, bhokta karta means doer. When I do something, I drink this water. I feel I am the agent of this action of doing. I am talking to you. I feel I am the talker. I eat, I drink, I walk. I say good things, I say nasty things, I do meritorious acts, I do sinful acts. I am the doer. And we firmly feel this. When we firmly feel this, what happens is the results of our actions also come to us. If I am the doer, I'll get what I've done, the results of what I've done. We all want that. I worked hard. I deserve a raise. Your boss doesn't think so, but you think you're the doer and you did it, and so you need this money. So we want the results of our actions. A little correction there. We want the results of all our good actions, but we don't want the results of our bad actions. In karma, they say all the good karma. So karma has two meanings. Karma means the actions that we do deliberately, consciously, and also means the results of that action. What do you mean by the results of that action? Vivekananda put it succinctly. He said, good, good, bad, bad, and none escape the law. Whosoever wears a form wears the chain too. What does it mean? Good action, deliberately done good action, gives rise to something called in Sanskrit punya, merit, and that gives rise to sukha, happiness. Good things happen to you. This is basically the understanding of law of karma in a very simplistic way. And if I'm deliberately naughty, so I do evil things deliberately, adharma, evil, the result of that is demerit or sin, papa. And the result of that sin is dukkha, suffering. Unpleasant things happen to me. Now, if you apply it to our lives, the understanding is that all that is good and enjoyable and pleasant, things are going well, health is good, you're making a lot of money, people like you, your social media following is really great. All of that, it's sign of good karma. Good karma is giving rise to pleasant things. Things are not going well, my health is not good, I'm sick, people don't like me, people are mean to me, my finances are terrible, bad karma. So that's the understanding. And by the way, that's not spiritual. That's a very worldly thing. That sort of explains what's going on in samsara. Spirituality is always going beyond karma. Whenever we talk about karma, we find a lot of interest. People are eager to know what's in my karma, how can I change it? None of that is a spiritual thing. It's a good guidance to live a moral and a careful life. That's it. Going beyond karma is spirituality. And whether it's a very interesting insight. Karma yoga, bhakti yoga, raja yoga, and jnana yoga. All of them take you beyond karma. So there now you see the meaning, what is coming out here. I hadn't touched upon this, but he asked the question. Ashtavakra says you are not the doer. What would happen? Suppose you are not the doer. What would happen? If you are not the doer, then the actions don't belong to you and the results don't come to you. But how are you not the doer? We all feel we are the doer. It's consciousness in association with mind and body which is the doer. But consciousness by itself, awareness by itself, the Atman by itself doesn't do anything. A good example would be in our dreams. So in our dreams, I walked and talked and did all sorts of things. When I woke up, I realized, oh, I was not the doer there. They all appeared to me. But it felt like I was doing something in the dream. Similarly, it feels like you're doing something, but it's an appearance in consciousness. It's like a movie playing in consciousness. Therefore, you are not the doer. Now, the next part is easy. If you're not the doer, then you're not the enjoyer or sufferer of the results of action. You are the witness of that. Things happen to you in the dream. Sometimes nasty things happen in the dream. When we wake up, what do we say? Oh, thank God it was a dream. In that case, I cannot really say that I suffered. A guy came and punched me in my dream. I was furious with him. I get up and I realize it's a dream. I don't need to do anything about it. You don't go and complain to the police. That guy came and punched me. When? In my dream. You can't do that because you really did not suffer. Really. Although you experienced it, it appeared to you, but in reality you have not suffered. You are neither the doer of the deeds in the dream, nor are you the sufferer or enjoyer of what exactly happened in the dream. None of it. It's exactly like that. These, since they are all appearances in consciousness, then you are not the doer of the deeds, not the enjoyer or sufferer of the consequences of the deeds. Therefore, na karta, not the doer, na bhokta. Although the appearance of doing and the appearance of experiencing will continue. To you, the consciousness. You see, try to understand what is it like to be an enlightened person. As awareness, I am not the doer of anything. There are many stories in the Puranas and all, when somebody has done a lot of things, and if you ask, as a sage, he will say that I did nothing. So from a perspective of pure consciousness, you did nothing. There are appearances in you. And yet, it's all happening because of you, the pure consciousness. This consciousness, in association with mind-body, is the doer. This consciousness, in association with mind-body, is the experience of the results of action. What did Vivekananda say? Good, good, bad, bad, none escape the law. Whosoever wears a form means, I think I am this. Wears the chain too. Then next, what can spirituality do? What can Advaita do? Far beyond name and form is Atman ever free. And know thou art that sannyasi bold, say Om Tat Sat Om. Far beyond name and form, body and mind, which we just did, exactly what Ashtavakra told us. You are the Atman free, consciousness free.
So a quick follow-up. If I am eating something yummy, then the bliss I experience, I am not the enjoyer, I am still the witness.
Well, you get to have it both ways. As an, yes, you enjoy, but you are not trapped by that enjoyment. It all happens because you are there. And yet you are not the person who is seeking that enjoyment and then is the consumer of that enjoyment. You are the awareness in which it happens. See, the distinction will become clear. As an enjoyer or sufferer, I always want to enjoy, I want to avoid suffering. But as the witness of both are pointing back to me, the consciousness. I'll tell you one interesting thing. A monk, very great monk, he pointed out, what is it like to be as, he said, Sukham Chara, live happily. How do you live happily as consciousness, as pure awareness or the Atman? Every experience is now pointing back towards you as pure consciousness. Earlier, every experience pointed towards the object of that experience. Somebody pinches me, oh, the pain and the pinching, and I'm mad at you, and why did you do that? That's what our experience is like in the world. I have candy, oh, how sweet it is, how nice it is, I want to have more. That's our experience in the world. Whereas, for the enlightened one, every experience points back, it shows this flash of pain. It points back to me as pure consciousness, the witness of the pain. This sweetness of the candy, it points back to me as pure consciousness, witness of the sweetness. From my perspective as pure consciousness, both are same. Both have served to point back to me as awareness. You know what it's like? Every experience for the enlightened one, what is it like? It's like this monk said, we are in general all the time aware of the body. But someone lands a blow on the body, someone punches you. You suddenly become much more aware of the body. Suddenly, yes, I'm aware of the body. More consciously. Every experience, when you see something, hear, smell, taste something, think of something, remember something, suffer, enjoy something, both of those, all of them, they manifest you as consciousness. They're continuously, so every sensory experience is like a pinch on the body of consciousness. I mean, I'm mangling the philosophy, but it's like a flash of awareness. It's we can put it that way. So that's the perspective which is different from the doer and the enjoyer or sufferer. Is exactly what we are. The witness consciousness is that which makes the doing and enjoying and suffering possible, but it's independent of it. We will, thank you. We'll appreciate that a little more in the meditation session. Let's go to that gentleman, yes.
Swamiji, my name is Vijay Singh from Atlanta.
Yes.
My question is, I plan to do Nididhyasana based on this text now. So can you guide us how I can start with this?
Good, come to the next session. Then the gentleman there.
Swamiji, I'm Rajiv from Atlanta. I have a question. You said the body changes, right? But with the body, as I grow up, my consciousness becomes more aware, be it knowledge or experience. Isn't the consciousness also changing?
Right.
From when I was a baby to now.
So when I have more knowledge, more understanding, more maturity, is that the mind or is it consciousness? That's the mind. That's the mind. I go to school and I learn many things. The mind has learned, it's become enriched. And I'm aware. I am the same one who was aware of being dumb earlier. Now I'm the same one who is aware of being very scholarly and very smart. What was dumb and what became smart? The mind. And don't worry, very soon the mind is going to forget all of that also. Our hold on what we have learned is very tenuous. Consciousness shines ever brightly. So it's not that I became more experienced, consciousness became more experienced, consciousness became more aware, less aware. No, more aware, less aware. In the morning, I seem to be very much aware. In the evening and at night, I become less aware. No, that's the mind which becomes more alert and less alert. After a cup of coffee, suddenly alert. Body and mind have become alert. Consciousness is ever the same. So we are this clear, very careful distinction between mind and consciousness. This has to be done. It's very important. Yes.
Pranam Swamiji, my name is Kausalya. My question is with the word bodh, the bodhatma in the second. So is it pure intelligence? Is it supersensuous knowledge? Is it perception?
Sometimes right. Sometimes it's translated as pure intelligence, but there are no words for pure consciousness. So I'll stick to two words: consciousness, awareness. I'll use them interchangeably. It's not even literally what it means in English. In English, consciousness just means this awareness which we have got now. Vedanta would say this awareness which we've got just now is a mixture of you, the pure awareness, and mind right now. So bodha means awareness or consciousness, not knowledge, not perception, not supersensuous knowledge, none of that. Just divorced from all objects, awareness as it is, the subject as it is, consciousness as it is. Right? It's like our experiences right now are like this. If I show you this book, you'll say, what are you seeing? Most of you will say book. As discerning person might say light. It's light reflected of the book, which goes to your eyes. Now what you're seeing here is a mixture of book and light. Now if I say the light itself, that's just like saying consciousness itself. Right now what we are experiencing is a mixture of consciousness and object. Consciousness plus mind, consciousness plus sense inputs, consciousness plus body, consciousness plus the world. That's what we are experiencing right now. But it's like saying, can you consider the light itself apart from this object? Like that. And you are that light itself. You are that consciousness itself. That is bodhatma. Atma, self. Bodha, consciousness. Alright. We'll break. The next session was supposed to start at? You have a question?
Yes.
Alright, just ask the question.
My name is Jyothishya.
Yes, of course.
Not a question. I read Vedanta philosophy is very complicated.
No, it's very simple. It's the simplest of all. Yes.
It's the simplest of all. But seems like it. I have a very weak mind. Kamjor buddhi jisko bolte hain. So I cannot understand all the nuance and complexity of it. But other than that, I do constantly have a feeling in and around me that many of my actions are not completed by me,
Yes.
but made by somebody who is constantly in and around me and taking care of all the action. I'll give you just one small example. I play a little harmonium, and when my fingers move, I never learned from any physical guru, but I learned from God. Why these fingers go to the right note and not the incorrect note? He knows it. So what is this enough simplified, or do I need to go through the jnana yoga complexity of God?
Again,
for me,
it's not complex actually. It's like, and sometimes people have a fear of Advaita, like as kids we all had a fear of math. Math is complicated. I mean, mathematicians will disagree, but the rest of us lay people will think mathematics is complicated. But Advaita is actually the simplest of all the paths. It is utter simplicity itself. The complication is disentangling ourselves from the knots into which we have tied ourselves. That's the complication. So just follow each one, the 3 steps. What did he say? Do I understand it? Is it real? If you freeze up, no, I don't get it. All right, just repeat what was said. I am not the body is not mine. Why not? The understanding part comes next. I've given you 3 reasons. There can be more. Think about that. Do I understand the reasons? Then look back at the body. Is this a fact that I'm not saying the body is not there, but is it a fact that I'm not literally the body? I'm not literally my elbow or my kidneys. So that they are not even my elbow or my kidneys. What you said was actions. Yes, you're right. You can call it God or you can call it nature. If you don't like the God, some people may not like the God talk. So the Bhagavad Gita, Prakrityeva karmani kriyamanani sarvasha yapashyati tathatmanam akartaram sapashyati. Nature alone does every action. Everything that's going on in the universe, including in the body, including our so-called voluntary actions, everything is being done by nature. Prakriti doesn't even bring in the concept of God. Krishna is saying that. Deluded by the ego, the sentient being thinks, I am the doer. See, almost the same thing that Ashtavakra is saying. And the mechanism of delusion is the ego. The ego is where you, the pure consciousness, and the mind interact. It's called Chid Jada Granthi, the knot, K-N-O-T, the knot of consciousness and matter, or awareness and object. And that knot is not like this. What is the nature of that knot? One sadhu put it very beautifully. He said, Bevkufi matra Mahatmaji. It's only stupidity. There is no actual connection between consciousness and object. There's nothing that really ties us to the object. Anyway, we'll see. Thank you. Now, we'll start we'll give a little bit of time. We're supposed to start at 11:30. So let's start at 11:45. Yeah, 11:45. 11:40. Let's make it 11:40. So we get 15 minutes. The 15-minute break.
Everyone, please remain seated until the Swami is able to leave this hall.
Okay.
Please remain seated, and then you can go for the break, and we'll all assemble at 11:45.
11:40. 11:40.
11:40.
Yeah.
Okay. Please remain seated.
All right, let's go.